Hello and welcome to the Elevate podcast. I'm your host, Patricia Nowakowski. I am a salon owner, educator, mindset, and leadership coach that helps salon owners go from overwhelmed and burnt out to motivated and empowered. It is my mission to help you systemize your business, generate more profit, and create a career that you are absolutely in love with. Join us every week to learn about the small shifts you can make to elevate your business regarding mindset, marketing, social media, business systems, and so much more. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Elevate podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the things that could be possibly demotivating your team. Wondering what it's like to work with me? Want to know what I've tried and tested in my salon and how you can create more freedom as a salon owner? I'm excited to offer an exciting way to get my coaching lessons to you in our podcast subscription. The Elevate Insider is an inside look into my coaching calls and includes exclusive content from me. These episodes contain coaching lessons and the exact steps you need to take to grow your salon. Plus, you'll receive special PDFs and supporting documents so that you can easily take action. To learn more and to become an insider, visit opulentbeautypro.com/insider or find an episode of the Elevate Insider on Apple Podcasts. I know so many salon owners who ask the question, how can I motivate my team to do more? How can I motivate my team to be more successful? So when I'm working with my coaching clients, I always like to refine the things that they're already doing inside of their business. And really working on the things that might be demotivating their team is a great place to start really building that leadership and to start really building that culture and to start turning things around in your business. I think a lot of people like myself, I've been in the industry for over 20 years and I worked at a very traditional commission salon with a lot of things that probably weren't legal and definitely are not ideal. But it's just how things were done back in the day. So I want to talk about the things that could be possibly demotivating your team and then give you strategic ways over in the Elevate Insider to start changing those things so that you can begin to really create the business that you want. And so you can really kind of work on retaining the team you currently have and start turning around that morale and start turning around that culture so that you can, again, begin to build a solid business. So the first thing I want to talk about is poor communication. Lack of clear communication is going to be a huge demotivator for your team on so many different levels and in so many different areas. The lack of clear information and expectations can definitely put people in a place that they have no idea what to do or where to go or how to complete things in your business. And when people feel confused, they're almost afraid to make the leap and try new things, especially if you're somebody who is very micromanagey, which we're also going to touch base on that. So you need to have clear communication on everything in your business. If you do not have an operations manual in your business, you need to have one. Everything that you need to know on how to do in your business is in your operations manual. It's everything from what to do if your client is running late, what to do if you're running late, what to do if somebody no-shows, what to do if there's bad weather, what to do if you mess up somebody's hair, how to market your business, expectations of how to market your business, how to grow in your business, how to make money in your business, how to check people out. It's literally a guide to everything that is required and everything that they need to do in order to have a successful business inside of your business, all in one place. Another thing that is also a huge demotivator is micromanaging people. When I first opened my salon, I micromanaged every single little thing in my business. I still am very particular about the things that are important, but I was very micromanaging how they applied color, different formulas that they used, how they cut hair, the way they speak, which I'm still micromanaging on that because that is important. But I was so micromanaging that I literally put out my stylist creativity fire because I never let them try things and I never let them explore, which definitely was something that was getting rid of their excitement to come to work. So if you are over controlling and you cannot delegate things and you are nitpicking, you are definitely demotivating your team and you are putting out their creativity, which is why a lot of people got into this business in the first place. Lack of recognition is also something that is a demotivator. You need to acknowledge all of the small things in your stylist businesses and all of the small things that are wins. This could be anything from helping another team member. This could be somebody who follows and lives and breathes your core values. This can be somebody who always goes the extra mile to help other teammates with certain struggles. This can be somebody who has a win for the day. We need to acknowledge all of the little things. We need to say thank you to our team and each team member at least minimum once a week. If you are not connecting with every single team member to tell them that you appreciate them and to call out the little amazing things that they're doing and all of their incredible strengths, you are not motivating them. Positive reinforcement is the best way to create motivation for your team and to create and build trust with your team. You need to acknowledge all of the things. Another thing, and I hear this a lot, which is really hard, and I understand this from both sides. I understand this from a stylist side, and I understand this from a salon owner side. As a salon owner, we have a very strict budget most of the time. So sometimes we have instances where we run out of certain things, or we end up going through something at a rapid rate during the week, or somebody doesn't tell us that we're out of something. But another big demotivator is lack of resources or insufficient resources. So that's running out of color, that's running out of something that your stylist needs to use in order to truly create an amazing experience for a client, or, something that they need for their service. This can be very frustrating for your team members, not having what they need to do their job, having the right tools, having the right materials to complete tasks, and things that are missing can be very demotivating and frustrating. This is so funny because as a renter, I was very resourceful. I think as salon owners, we're also very resourceful. Most salon owners have either, worked in a suite or rented a chair. So we just knew how to figure shit out when we ran out of stuff. If we ran out of a color, we knew how to concoct it to make, something that works very similar. If we ran out of, a specific thing, we always kind of figured it out. I always kind of figured it out. So when we would run out of stuff at the salon and my team would be complaining that we would run out of stuff and be like, oh, we're out of 7N. What the heck? And they would get angry. I would be like, you can make it, just mix 6 and 8. Or it depending on your color line, obviously, there's different ratios, but you know how to make a 7 with using, the 6 and the 8, right? And our team doesn't have the critical thinking skills in order to do that. And to be honest, they don't want to. So what you have to do as a leader is set your team up for success and train them on the possibilities of how to be resourceful if we run out of things, right? So if we are out of something in the salon and we cannot get it, again, it goes to communication, because there's nothing worse than going to go and grab something. And as a stylist, you're like, oh my God, I can't find this. Are we out of this? When we inform our team that we're out of something and we give them a solution in our Band app, they're already prepared and already know what to do, right? So it's our job as a salon owner to really kind of take inventory and to really understand and make sure that our team communicates to us when we're out of things. Another thing that is a huge demotivator and something that is, I shouldn't say something, one of the main reasons why people leave their current salons, which I have a lot of people contact me and I can tell you that a lot of people leave their salons for this reason. And that's for a negative, toxic work environment. It's the mean girl mentality that people can't stand. In my salon, gossip is a non-negotiable. I will terminate somebody immediately if they are disrupting my culture, if they're complaining, and if they are just a bad apple. I have literally fired somebody in the first week of working for me because of the way that they mistreated another stylist inside of my salon. I have no tolerance for mean girl behavior, period. And I think that's important for us as salon owners to uphold that standard and to hold people accountable, because my team gets along. The people that want to work in my business know that this is a non-negotiable and that it does not fly. So the behavior does not exist in my space. And you have to be ready to terminate people at all levels in your business. So that goes for your top stylist. That goes for someone that's generating a lot of revenue for you. I think a lot of salon owners let bad behavior happen because they don't want to lose the high producers, when in reality, it just creates a bad atmosphere for every single person in your business. You need to look up the bad apple study. There was actually a study done where they took two groups of people and they put a bad apple in one group and then they put a super motivated person in the other, and they tracked the productivity of both groups. And the person that had the bad apple, or the negative person, ended up decreasing the productivity by 40%, I believe. So not only does it decrease your productivity, it ruins your culture. One person can demotivate your team by 40%. Imagine if your team was 40% more productive behind the chair and in their business, how much more money you would make as a salon owner and how much more money they would make as hairstylists. My goal for my team is to make close to six figures working part-time. So I would say working part-time for my girls is anywhere between 25 to 30 hours. I want to get my girls as close to six figures as I can with the implements and the different things we do in our business. And I can tell you the strategy that I use is with extensions, but that's my goal. So if there's something that's going to demotivate them by that much, it doesn't belong in my business at all. So I think really taking a look at your team's attitude, how your team treats every single person that they work with, and also like the entitlement. I think there is a lot of team members who know that they generate a lot of revenue for the business, so they feel entitled to act any way that they feel they want to. And in reality, it cannot be like that. So I definitely have two earners who are my top earners, and I could totally see them possibly having this attitude, but they love working here and they're kind people. So it's definitely, and I don't obviously accept the behavior. So it's definitely not something I have to work on. But I can tell you, when I worked at my old commission salon for 10 years, there were so many mean girls. I feel like they picked on somebody. They would switch like bi-monthly. Every single month, there would be a different girl that was targeted, and they literally made her life miserable. And that was like the person that they talked in the back room about. And to be honest, it was me a lot of the times. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people rotated through, but there was probably 5 girls that were just so mean, and they were the top earners, and the behavior was accepted. I remember that one of the people working there called me a see you next Tuesday. And I brought this to my boss, and he's like, yeah, but she said that you called her a bitch. So, that's what you get. Mind you, I did not call her a bitch, by the way, but it was just ignored that this person literally was verbally attacking me and so mean to me. I have no idea why I stayed at this salon for so long. I think I was just very fearful. But again, I was a highly motivated stylist. I was always looking to get to the next level. I was always looking for opportunity to grow, and I was always looking to fill my schedule and to learn the next trend and to stay on top of things. I spent thousands of dollars on education myself because I truly wanted to be the best. And to be honest, if I was not demotivated inside of this environment, I was there for 10 years, I probably would have stayed for 10 more years. But literally, the mean girl behavior was something that made me leave. Also, another thing that made me want to leave, and I know that a lot of people leave their salons for this next reason, is limited growth opportunities. There was no more room for me to grow when I left my commission salon. I was at the top level. I was a head designer, top stylist, and there was no more room for me to go. I remember I approached the salon owner and I said that I wanted to take over, teaching the assistants. Like I wanted to take over the training program because we didn't really have a solid training program. And he said no. And I was like, that's fine. That's his business. Totally. But at that point, I was like, there's no more room for me to grow here. So I need to do something that is going to make me feel like I'm getting to the next level. And what does that usually mean? For most stylists and for most people in our industry, it's going to rent and it's going to a salon suite. And that's exactly what I did. So you need to have a very clear growth plan for your stylists. How can they earn more money? How can they actually earn status? Because people want status. What are the roles and opportunities that they have to grow in your business? What else can they do for your business that isn't just doing hair behind the chair that lights them up and makes them feel excited? I know I've talked about this in a recent podcast that I did on roles, and one of my stylists is like killer at social media. So she is our assistant marketing director and she helps my marketing director with our social media. She captures content, she gets ideas, she works with the girls. I pay her for this also, but it was just another opportunity for her to grow in the salon because she's passionate about photography and she loves video. So how and what can you create in your salon? What are the ways that they can grow their income? Do you have a level system? We don't have a level system in my salon, but we've got phases 1 through 4, and then we have a leadership role and a mentor role. And those are things that every person working in my business can get to. I also have a clear financial guide on how to get to the next level. And I have to thank my friend Shelly for this because she's the one who really created this. It's how to get to 26K because the average hairstylist makes $26,000 a year. That's our baseline. That's the bottom of the barrel for me at my salon. Then we have how to get to 50K, and there's strategic things and strategies to get to each financial tier, how to get to 75K, and then how to get to 100K. So we have a very clear outline of the things that they need to do in order to hit their financial goals. Because some people have financial goals, some people have status goals, some people have educational goals. We need to have things that are going to really kind of motivate in all areas of growth, not just have financial goals or, like financial reach, because that's not going to motivate everybody in your business, especially your younger generations. They are in the influencer era. So, the more credibility that they have and the more status that they have, the more excited they are in your business. Of course, a lot of my teams are financially driven, but we need to have more than that. Another huge demotivator is inadequate compensation. One of the things that I stopped doing in my business is having group meetings for many reasons, but mostly because if I can't pay them, then I can't make them come. So the only time I have mandatory in-person meetings is for very important things, dire situations that need to be addressed or changed immediately. And every single time I have one of those meetings, I pay everyone minimum wage for their time. So they're getting paid for their time. And I think inadequate compensation happens in so many areas inside of our industry, and it needs to stop. I know it's so hard for salon owners to afford certain things in their business. Then you need to change your commission structure, and you need to change your pricing, and you need to change the way that you spend money in your business in order to be able to pay your team for their time. So some of the areas where I feel like salon owners are not paying for their team's time is mandatory meetings. I never take away money when my stylist gets a redo. So if one of my stylists gets a redo and that client does not want to see that stylist again, I do not take away money from them. They worked, they put in their time, they did their best effort. I'm not going to take away their compensation. And I will pay the stylist that is doing the redo. Yeah, that really sucks, but you as a salon owner should make sure that the people that are working in your salon are competent to do services. Sometimes it's not even anything that the stylist did. Sometimes there's a lack of communication with the consultation. There are so many reasons that there are adjustments, but I pay both of my stylists for the adjustment and I never take money away. Every single time I get my hair done in my salon, I pay my team full price. So I get my hair done a lot. I have 4 rows of hand-tied extensions. I am very blonde and I like weekly blowouts. So that is a lot of time that is taken out of my stylist schedule. I pay them their commission on the service cost every single time I get my hair done. I never make my stylist do anything for me service-wise for free ever. Never do I. I just had my stylist run a round brush through my hair to like fix my blowout and I paid her for it. So making sure that you're compensating them for their time because their time is valuable. They should feel valued and they should get compensated for anything that they do in your business. Mentor positions, any extra things that they do, I pay them for their time. If they are taking the time to come in and teach a class, I pay them for their time. I pay my team for every single thing that they do. Another thing that I also compensate my stylist for, if we are giving a discount in the salon, so say like we handed out $25 off cards for new guests for our referral program, I pay my team on the full service. I do not take discounts out of their paychecks, especially if it's for building the salon business. I know I'm also building their business. But again, their time is valuable. The $25 really isn't $25, right? It ends up being like $12 that I have to pay them because, they're making commission. So paying them on their discounts, again, you need to sit down with your accountant and figure out how to do this to make sure that your team is compensated appropriately. If you need to give less commission, then you need to change your commission structure. We have a sliding scale in my salon, so my high producers make a higher commission and my lower producers make a smaller commission. That really does help balance things out. And we do a lot of extension services. My extensions, I have a good profit margin where I can give them a great commission on the hair. And I can also use the other profit margin for things like this when it comes to being able to compensate my team. So making sure that you are paying them appropriately, again, and adjusting things. That doesn't mean you have to take commission away from your team in order to be able to do this. But when you bring new people on, make adjustments that you need to make with the new team members so you can start incorporating these things in your business and start making the changes that you need in order to run your business in the way that you need to. Another demotivator is work-life balance. Please don't make your team work every Saturday. Or if your team has time that they want to take off with their family or they want to do things, let them do things. I do have a very lax procedure when it comes to taking time off. I never tell my team no. I think one of the things that I hated when I worked at my commission salon is we were only allowed to take 4 Saturdays off a year. I missed a lot of family things. A lot because I had to work, especially around the holidays. If we took a day off, we had to make it up. So, there would be some weeks where I'd be working 6-7 days a week to make up time off. I don't do that with my team. Obviously, if someone's taking off an excessive amount of time and it's affecting their business, that's a different conversation. But if one of my team members wants to take a Saturday off to go to their kid's game or to do, family things, or if they have a wedding or something, I never say no, ever. The only time I say no is when they are taking time off for no reason because they have no clients. They need to leave their schedule open. If you want to know how I've taken away stylist freedom in my business and what I'm doing now, you should definitely subscribe to the Elevate Insider, I go over in detail what I do with my business when it comes to stylist freedom, so it actually works for my business and it's not hurting my business. And last but not least, lack of trust. You need to build trust with your team. When your team trusts you, they will do anything that you tell them to do. And you really need to make sure that you are doing all of the things to build trust with every single team member. That's having really hard, honest conversations. That's being kindly straightforward with your team so they know exactly how they stand and where they stand in your business and exactly like what you think of them, not talking about them behind their back when something happens. If something happens with a client, I think one of the things that drove me crazy about the commission salon that I worked for is anytime I would get a redo, no one would ever tell me. They would never tell me. I would just see my client sitting in someone else's chair. I wouldn't know what I did wrong. Maybe sometimes somebody would tell me, but most of the time I would just see them sitting in somebody else's chair. Like really just being, again, that goes back to open communication, really making sure that you're communicating with your team, that you're being kind, that you're listening, that you're doing everything with them in mind, and you're always doing what's best for them and also what's best for the business. But those are the ways that you're going to build trust. Following through with your word. If you say you're going to do something, then you need to do it. I think a lot of salon owners come up with really great ideas and they share it with their team before they've actually executed it. And what ends up happening is they lose trust with their team because they never follow through with the exciting thing that was going to happen. I remember, again, I hate to be like talking smack about my commission salon, but I really wanted to sit down and think about like, why did I leave my commission salon? What were the demotivators that really pushed me out the door? I wanted to talk about, things from a place of experience. And this is just my experience because I worked at that salon for 10 years. I was very loyal. And again, I would have stayed for probably another 10 years if I had all these opportunities. I wanted to get back into my mindset of what it was like when I was a stylist and like what shifted and changed for me to want to go on my own. So these are the things that I'm sharing with you today. But I remember my old salon owner would come out and be like, yeah, I think we're going to do a 401k for you guys and put your retail commission in the 401k. And then it would never happen. And he'd be like, oh, I think we're going to do this other great thing. And then it would never happen. So it was like, we lost trust, or personally, I lost trust in him because I was like, he's saying we're going to do all these exciting things and he doesn't follow through. The excitement of doing something for our team or something new for our business is like very energizing. So we have to remember as leaders, we cannot share with our team until we have it in action, because again, that's going to be one of the things that our team loses trust in. So I hope these things were helpful. I hope you can take a really hard look at yourself as a leader and really start to shift these things in your business so you can work on stylist retention. And again, working on these things are going to help build your reputation as a salon owner. And it's going to really help build that culture and build you as a strong leader. Because as a strong leader, when you have your leadership dialed in, when you have your culture dialed in, you don't have to beg your team to do anything. Your team wants to do everything to please you. That sounds weird, but it's true. So when we dial in on all these things and really refine our leadership and our culture, that's what creates freedom for you as a salon owner. So if you like today's episode, please be sure to share this, like and subscribe, leave a review, and I will be talking to you next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Elevate podcast. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen. The Elevate podcast is hosted by me, Patricia Nowakowski, and is produced by Opulent Beauty Pro. To receive my free business guides, visit opulentbeautypro.com/free or click the link in the show notes. You can find me on Instagram at Opulent Beauty Pro or at Patricia_Nowakowski_OBS. If you love this show, please consider subscribing, and we will see you next week.